Thank you so much, Dr. Sriveni, and thank you, Dr. K. Okay, it's just about started to record. So we were talking about the secret, which is nothing but the law of attraction. And one of the things that the book says is like attracts like. And believe it, you and I are magnets. We are magnets, and our life is a reflection of what we have attracted. Our life is that we live today is a mirror of our thoughts, because if you think something, you are able to achieve it. And if you have achieved good, it is a mirror of what you were thinking. If you've not achieved it, it's a mirror of probably your lower frequency. So one of the things that our book tells us is that if you see it in your mind, you can achieve it. And your thoughts, believe it or not, friends, our thoughts have a frequency. So, for example, if I were listening to, because I live in Dubai, I'm going to refer to the Dubai FM channels while I'm driving. If I were listening to 89.1 Radio 4 FM for my Hindi songs, I will not be able to hear the Hindi songs on 106.2 Hum FM or 92.0 Dubai FM. So our thoughts have frequency, and that frequency is going to attract things at that frequency. And which is why when I am in a good mood, I am in a positive frame of mind, when I am at a higher frequency, I also realize that people around me are positive. Whereas if I am in a negative state of mind, I am also going to attract that crowd around me. In fact, this reminds me of a story I read, and I don't know if it's true or not, but it talks about a man in the ancient times who was moving from one town to another, and he met Aristotle, and he said, I am a trader. I want to be moving from my town to here. And he was asked why. Aristotle said, "Why are you moving? When you've got a set business in your town, why are you moving to a new town?" And he said, people in my town really are very negative. They don't help you. They pull you down. So I'm looking for a new market. And Aristotle said, don't bother. Don't really bother. People over here are the same. So stay where you are. And while all of this was happening, Aristotle's friend was sitting next to him. A few months later, there was a similar situation, because Aristotle was a man who was revered by people around, respected by people around him. Another person came around and said, listen, I was told that you give good advice and I want to bring my business to this town. What do you think about it? Aristotle asked the same question. He said, why do you want to move when you have a set business in your town? And he said, look, I have 5 sons and I have to grow. And I'm doing wonderfully well. But today my kids are young, but slowly and steadily, I need to start a business so that, if my town takes care of 2 of my children, 3 kids will need more. So I'm doing very well, but I need newer markets. And Aristotle said, excellent thought. You must come to this town and you must start your business. And again, the same friend was next to him and he said, why did you lie the first time? Or are you lying this time? And Aristotle had said, you will always meet the kind of people depending on the frequency that you are in the frame of mind that you are in. The former man saw negativity, he will find negativity. This man sees positivity, and therefore he will find positivity. And the other thought that the book says is, we attract whatever we feel. So attract the good instead of attracting something that is not good. What does that mean? So I could have said attract the bad, but just this morning I was talking to one of my friends who's also part of the book club, but she couldn't join today. And she said, I don't even want to use the word bad. So if she wants to refer to something which is not very good, or on the negative side, she says, I don't want to get into the ding dong business, which means I don't want to get into the negative business. She says, why even use the word negative? And I like that thought. So again, the thought is attract the good. So what does that mean? The universe is very simple. The universe wants to help you, and the universe is super obedient. Okay. So when you say, I don't want to, let's say I'm wearing a beautiful dress and I don't want to drop coffee on my dress. The universe does not understand the word don't. The universe understands I want to drop coffee on my dress. If I say I don't want to be late, the universe is very simple, is very loving, The universe only hears, I want to be late. If I say, oh my God, I'm wearing new shoes today, I don't want my shoes to pinch. The universe is only going to hear, I want my shoes to pinch. So stay at a higher frequency, stay at a higher thought, and you will attract the good, because the book says like attracts like. And the simplest way to look at the law of attraction is, if I think of myself as a magnet, I am going to attract only the good. Why would I want to attract anything that is not good? And because the book says, and the law of attraction basically says that like attracts like. If you think of a good thought, you are going to attract good people to you. So, for example, as a human, our job is to hold on to thoughts of what we want. Why would we even want to think about thoughts that are not relevant to us? Let's stay in a very, very positive zone. And here again, one of the gurus says, if you see it in your mind, you're going to hold it in your hand. And what people don't understand is that a thought has frequency. And whatever we think, if we are thinking at a frequency, we are going to connect to people at the same frequency. And therefore, let's attract the good and not attract that which is bad, which my friend Simran, who's not here, says, don't use the word bad, use the word ding dong. Don't even use words that are negative. And which is why, as I said, right, when we grew up being told by our elders, don't say negative things. You don't know at what point the universe is going to look at you and say, so be it. Don't say the bad things. Don't say negative things. Stay in a positive zone. Stay in thinking of the good things. And the law of attraction does not care whether you perceive something to be good or bad, or whether you don't want it or whether you want it. It's only responding to your thoughts. So it all goes back to our thoughts. But some of you may have heard that at any given time, there are 60,000 thoughts that pass through our mind in any 24-hour day. So even when we are sleeping, being aware, my friends, that there are thoughts that go into our mind. We all dream. Some of us remember our dreams, some of us don't. But the thoughts are going into our mind. And therefore, let's stay in the positive zone. Let's stay thinking about all the good things. Because the law of attraction is very obedient and the law works 24/7. You and I may sleep. The law does not sleep because the law is part of nature. The law of attraction is the law of creation. And even quantum physicists tell us that the entire universe emerged through our thought. So, therefore, let us make sure that we stay in the positive zone. And let's not forget the power of our mind. So, here, Michael Beckwith says that you attract to you the predominant thoughts that you are holding in your awareness, whether those thoughts are conscious or unconscious, which is what I meant when we said, let's have positive thoughts. My mom we grew up in a very conservative family. Most of us did, right? And my mom was very, very strict. She did not allow us to use any negative words. We were not allowed to use swear words. We were not allowed to use any bad language. And she said, you don't realize what you say at one point, you're likely to say at another. So if you're using bad language today, you are likely to use it outside, which is the age-old wisdom that our elders were giving us. Let's only have positive thoughts, because you don't know at what point a negative thought comes in and takes root. Lisa Nichols says that you can see the law of attraction everywhere. You draw everything to yourself, your job, the people around you, the circumstances, your health, your wealth, any debt that you have, the joy around you, the car you drive, the community that you're in. You have drawn it all to yourself. And therefore, let's always think of the good things, because the universe is going to include everything, every thought. It does not know what to sift out. It is going to accept everything that you say. And again, Michael Beckwith, as well as Bob Proctor, they say that oftentimes people begin to understand the great secret. They are scared of their negative thoughts that they have that they need to be aware of. But it has been scientifically proven that an affirmative thought has 100 times of power over a negative thought. But the beauty, and thankfully, the beauty is that your thought does not become action immediately. And that is a saving grace. So if you have a thought that is not positive, you are able to overlay that with a positive thought. So let's try and become aware. Let's be mindful of what we are thinking about throughout the day. So as like Lisa Nichols says, thank God there's a time delay, that all your thoughts do not become true instantly. We'd be in trouble if they did. And Joe Vitale says that you want to become aware of your thoughts and choose your thoughts carefully. You want to have fun with this because you are the masterpiece of your life. You are the Michelangelo of your life, and the David that you are sculpted is of you. Sorry, I'm just admitting people from the waiting room. And so today we'll be doing the first 3 chapters. So the end of the first chapter, if we just go over the few thoughts we went through, we said that the great secret of life is the law of attraction. We said that like attracts like. We said thoughts are magnetic and thoughts have frequency. As you think the thoughts, they are sent out to the universe and they magnetically attract everyone at that frequency. So you may be at a certain frequency and you're going to attract people of a similar frequency to you. And most important, we are human transmitters. Think of yourself as a human transmitter, which is even more powerful than the best TV transmitter. So let's transmit the right things. Your current thoughts are creating your life, and thoughts, of course, become things. And then we go to the next chapter, which says the secret made simple. And over here, when we talk about everything being made simple, there is good around us and there is not so good around us. I'm going to try and avoid using any words that are not too positive. So there's good around us and there are things around us that are not good. And we attract everything to us. I remember reading a book, and there are also TED Talks by this lady. The lady's name is Anita Moolani, and she's written a book called Dying to Be Me. This is a lady who was mortified. She was scared of getting cancer. She lost a friend at a very young age to cancer. And the one thing she did not want to get in her life was cancer. And therefore, she would eat healthy. She would go for runs. She would avoid using microwave. She would try, really try to live a very healthy life, only to get lymphatic cancer. And this is, of course, a story of how, eventually the positive things that she did helped her because she was expected to die. She went into a coma for about 36 hours and she had what is called as a near-death experience or an afterlife experience or whatever that you want to call it. She came back and she healed, but she was so scared of getting cancer. And she said, I don't want to get cancer so often that she actually got cancer, but she lived to tell a tale of how she overcame it. Um, and her story and her recovery is actually chronicled as a miracle because as for the doctor, she should not have lived. So let's only stay in the positive zone. Um, and of course, we talked about how thoughts having frequency, but there is one more interesting thing that this chapter says, that if our thoughts have frequency and our thoughts also affect our feelings, we have to be very careful of what we feel. And therefore, during the day, ask yourself, what am I feeling now? Okay, now what am I feeling? Because if my thoughts are affecting my feelings, maybe your feelings are also connected to the universe in some way or the other. So that's a good thought to have for this, to be mindful of. And often when people hear this part of the secret, they recall events in history where masses of life were lost. And this is a very interesting part of the book where she says that they find it incomprehensible that so many people could have attracted themselves to this horrible event. So by the law of attraction, they had to be on the same frequency as the event. It doesn't necessarily mean that they thought of the exact event, but the frequency of their thought probably matched the frequency of that event. And therefore, we We have seen situations where there is sometimes a mass hysteria of negative thoughts, negative feelings, and sometimes it is best to switch off your TV, switch off your phone, and stay in the positive zone. So again, Bob Doyle is saying, not Bob Proctor, but Bob Doyle says, most of us attract by default. We just think that we don't have any control over it. Our thoughts and feelings are on autopilot. So everything is brought to us by default. And if everything is brought to us by default, let our default be positive. Let us stay at a higher frequency, because when you're in a higher frequency, you're going to be attracting people at the right frequency who will be attracted to you. And the fun is that there are many shortcuts to the secret, and you will get to choose the shortcuts that work best for you. But at the same time, it is impossible to monitor every thought. And therefore, you would be exhausted trying to control your thoughts. So the best thing to do is to try and stay positive at all times. And there will be negative feelings. There will be moments of sadness. There will be moments of anxiety. But let us be mindful and then make sure that we think of a positive thought to overlay that and take away that negative thought in your mind. Bob Doyle again says that the emotions are an incredible gift that we have, let us to know what we are thinking. Because the moment you start feeling sad, angry, upset, you can be aware and ask yourself, what am I feeling now? And why am I feeling that? Can I do something about it? Can I change my feeling? And it's the thought that will change that feeling. And Lisa Nichols says you have two sets of feelings, the good and the bad. The good feelings are the ones that take you to a higher frequency, make you feel good. The not so good feelings are the ones of anger, disappointment, resentment, which take you to a lower frequency. And the most important thing to know is that it is impossible. And this is, I like this statement, that it is impossible to feel bad at the same time when you have good thoughts. So if you're feeling bad, if you're feeling upset, the best thing to do is to become aware of it and make sure that you move to a good thought. And thank you, Supriya. When I was talking about the lady called Dying to Be Me, the lady's name is Anita Moorjani. So if you are ever interested in reading about her, wonderful book and wonderful experience by Anita Moorjani. Thanks, Supriya. And again, as I said, our thoughts affect our frequency, and therefore, let's be mindful of our thoughts. The flip side is that you have good emotions and good feelings, and you know when they come to you because they make you feel good. And it's very simple. Ask yourself, what am I attracting right now? What am I feeling? If I feel good, then let's keep doing that. And let's go a step further. What if your feelings are actually communicating to the universe to let you know what you're thinking? So your thoughts, your feelings, and the universe are kind of in a sync. Again, a very, very interesting thought. So Bob Doyle says you're getting exactly what you're feeling. And which is why I keep saying, if you have a negative thought, become aware of it, pause, and have a thought that overlays it. It's not easy, but it is something that you can work on. And no one is saying that you are not allowed to feel sad. It's not about negating any bad things going around you, but it's a positive focus. It's a positive way of looking at things to say, what can I do about it? How can I change how I feel? How can I change the mood of the room? Sometimes you may have seen, in a meeting, everybody starts going into a negative zone. And I remember this was a meeting which was just after we came back to work from COVID, and everybody was tired. We were overworked. We were trying to take care of everyone. A few of us were probably in the burnout zone, and instead of planning for the next year, so we were planning for 22. Instead of planning for 22, we all started going into a zone of what's not going well, how we haven't taken time off, how nobody's traveled, how people have been calling us at wrong times. And I'm glad this happened, but I didn't realize it then. We had one of our facilitators who said, let's pause for a minute. There are two ways to look at it. Either we talk about what's not gone well, or let's look at what can we change? What is the situation? What are the variables? And what is the outcome? And if the outcome is fixed and the situation cannot be changed, the only thing we can change is our outlook. So think of it as an equation. If 8 plus 2 is 10 and 10 is your outcome, the outcome cannot change. You can only change your response to it. So let's change the response. And for me, that was, though I'm a 50 plus, for me, it was like an aha moment. And I said, why am I part of this negative bashing of what's not well, what's not going well? Let's look at what can be better. Let's be positive. And from that moment onwards, the meeting suddenly took off. So let's remember that we can be that catalyst to change the mood, to change the law of attraction and attract all the right things for yourself and the people around you. So again, Michael Beckford says, you can begin right now to feel healthy. So I could tell myself I'm tired and I'm feeling, it's at the end of the day, it's like past 6 o'clock for me. I can begin to feel healthy. I can begin to feel prosperous, or I can choose to think about how tired I am. It's all up to me. It is all up to my positive thoughts. Joe Vitale says, it's really important that you feel good, because this feeling good is what goes out as a signal to the universe and starts to attract more of the good health for you, the more of the good feeling for you. And the more you feel good, the more you attract things that will help you feel good. And there is a beautiful tip given over here, which is make a list. And I love this because this is what I've started doing for the past 2, 3 weeks, is make a list of secret shifters that you have up your sleeve. And by this, I mean things that can change your feelings in a snap. So if I'm feeling low, what can help me move out of that negative situation or that feeling bad situation? Is it a memory? Is it a photograph? For example, I have a photograph of me here. This is actually me in, I don't know if you can see that, but this is me in my 9th month, just before my son was born. And my friends had given me a surprise baby shower. And for me, that's a beautiful moment. In fact, I teasingly tell my son that, this is one of the first known photographs of you. And the first time he saw it, he says, Mama, where am I? And I said, you're inside my tummy, baby. You're inside my tummy. But it's such a beautiful moment because I had been given this beautiful baby shower. I wasn't expecting it. It could be a photograph, it could be a memory, it could be a funny anecdote, it could be a smell, it could be a funny joke that you thought about, it could be like a stress ball that you keep, to shift your mood. But have a few things up your sleeve that can help you shift the mood and take you out of the negative zone. And smells and tastes especially are very, very powerful. I used to have it, and I'm sure it's still somewhere over here. There was this little ball of lavender which was given to me by one of my friends who then moved to Amsterdam. But for me, it's not just the smell, but it's just looking at that, thinking of all the fond memories that I have with her. And smells, as I mentioned, are a very, very powerful way to shift your mood. Or it could even be a physical movement, right? If you're feeling really low, very negative, get up, go for a walk in the nature. And tastes are again another powerful way to shift your mood. So at the end of the second chapter, if we go over the secret summaries, because now we are going to come to the final chapter for today, which is how to use the secret. But some of the things to remember for the chapter that we talked about is nothing can come into your experience unless you summon it. If you want something, you have to tell the universe, I want it. Think of the universe as your friend, as your father, as that loving being who is so loving that it wants you to succeed. And it it's so full of love for you that what you ask, you shall receive. And whenever you are thinking about something, don't keep it in your heart. Tell the universe that you want it. What is equal, I like this line, is it's impossible to feel bad and at the same time have good thoughts. And therefore, have good thoughts and your bad feelings will naturally go away. Your thoughts determine your frequency, and your feelings will tell you immediately what frequency you're on. Have a list of secret shifters. These can be pleasant memories, nature, your favorite music. Yes, I forgot music. and they can change your feelings. And the most important, a feeling of love. A feeling of love is the highest frequency you can emit. The greater that the love that you emit, the greater that the power that you are harnessing. So then comes the question, how do we use the secret, right? So you would have heard about the story of the Aladdin and his lamp. And if you remember the story, he would rub the lamp and then he would have the genie come out and he would ask the genie, which is what I talked about. If you want something from the universe, if you want something to happen, you have to ask for it. Tell the universe, this is what I want. And that metaphor of the story is something that you can apply to your life. Aladdin is the one who always asks for what he wants. There, you've got the universe at large, which is the genie. So the genie here is the universe. And traditions may have called it so many things. You know, your higher self, your guardian. You can put any label on it, and you can choose the one that works best. But every tradition has told us that there is something bigger than each one of us, and that bigger, being the higher self, wants you to succeed. And therefore, the genie, what did the genie say? Your wish is my command. And that's what the universe is saying, that your wish is my command. So the creative process is a 3-step process, which is ask, um, believe, and receive. Yes. So the first is ask. So the first step is to ask, to make a command to the universe. Let the universe know what you want, and the universe will respond to your thoughts. You get to choose what you want, but you must be clear what you want. But this is a lot of work. If you're not clear, then the law of attraction will not bring what you want. So don't dilly-dally. Don't have a very wishy-washy wish. Oh, no, I wish I had. No. If you really want something, you will make a list of what you want. You will go into the details of how you want it to be. If I want to be a coach, I want to be a trainer, I want to, and I want to make money out of it, I need to actually ask for it, and I need to visualize it, visualize myself on the stage, addressing a crowd of 200, 500,000, whatever is my dream. And in fact, Supriya, I'm going to use something that you taught me the other day. When you are making your list, you need to have a big, hairy, audacious goal. Yes, it was a big, hairy,
BHAG.
audacious. Yeah,
BHAG.
BHAG. Yeah,
BHAG.
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 So if you're asking something for the universe, don't ask us. You can start with something small if you don't believe it, and that's fine, right? In the beginning, you may not believe it, and you may say, let me start with asking something small. For example, whenever we go out, I have a very low faith in getting parking. My husband doesn't believe in the secret, but even without believing the secret, he knows he'll get a parking. And he always says, okay, go ahead and order. By the time you order, I will have found the parking, and he finds the parking. So if you want to start with something small, go ahead. But when you're asking the universe, once you've tested the universe, have a big, hairy, audacious goal, because the universe will make it happen. And this is the fun part. It's like having the universe as your catalog. Literally, you're going through a catalog and say, okay, I want this. Okay, now I want this. Okay, I want this. Like it's like a menu card. Ask the universe what you have. And once you ask, drop it. Because if you genuinely want something, you will already be working on it. You will also realize that a lot of people who are actually, maybe most people who are successful, they do not plan to the nth degree. They know what they want and they start taking steps. And again, I'm going to steal a line from Dr. Kailash, who had mentioned once, success loves speed. Don't make your Excel sheets to the nth degree. Make a goal, ask the universe, start working on it, and things will fall into place. And when they fall into place, you will wonder if the universe was moving the puzzle around and making things happen for you. But first, you have to ask. You have to believe it's going to happen. And when you believe that it is going to happen, you will also realize that you are taking the right steps, meeting the right people, having the right conversations, and be ready to receive. And there will be times, okay? There will be times when you will not receive it immediately, or there will be a time lag. And the moment you start questioning yourself, oh, is it going to happen? Did I ask for the right thing? Maybe I should be going that way. Stop yourself. Do not question the universe. And again, I'm going to, this is, I'm not sure if it was Deepak Chopra who said this, but he had said, make sure that the universe conspires with you. And in fact, this has been used as a dialogue in one of Shah Rukh Khan's movie, where he says कि इतनी शिद्दत से हमने आपसे मोहब्बत की है कि हर जर्रे ने हमें मिलाने की साजिश की है, which is kind of similar, where if you really genuinely want something, the universe will make it happen. Have faith in the universe. You ask the universe and then take the right steps. Even if it's as something as simple as getting a lottery, you will of course need to buy that lottery ticket. You cannot expect a lottery to be won without buying the lottery ticket. But make the list, be very clear in what you want. Be clear in asking the universe what you want, but trust the universe. The universe wants you to succeed, and the universe is obedient. The universe will make sure that it gives you what you want. But for that, you have to have genuine faith. And as I'm coming close, if you have any questions, please be ready, because I would love to hear from. I love that, ordering from the Cosmic Kitchen. I agree with that. It is ordering from the Cosmic Kitchen. And action is a word that can imply work, but work does not mean that you're toiling, because if you genuinely want something, what you're doing does not feel like work. And then it feels like 6 Sundays in a week. It's not like you're not working for the 6 days in a week, but every day feels like Sunday when you really genuinely want something to happen. And imagine life as a fast moving river. When you're acting to make something happen, it will feel as if you're going against the current of the river. It will feel hard, and it will feel like a struggle. When you are acting to receive from the universe, you will feel as if you're flowing. Now I'm talking about going with what the universe is doing. When you're going with the universe, you're flowing with the river. It feels effortless. And that is the feeling of inspired action. And inspired action doesn't feel like work. And you feel like you're flowing, or you're being in the flow of the universe of life. Sometimes you will not even be aware you used action until you've received it. And it feels like it just happened. It happened because you went with the flow of the universe. You went with the positivity of the universe. And the universe likes speed. So success likes speed. So don't delay, don't second guess, don't doubt. When the opportunity is there, when the impulse is there, when the intuitive nudge comes from within, act. That's your job. And that's all that you have to do. Trust your instincts. It's the universe that's inspiring you. And if the universe is communicating with you, be on the receiving frequency, you have an intuitive or instinctive feeling, just follow it. Because what is intuition? Intuition is your experience. It's joining the dots with what we call as a gut feeling, which is your experience. And there is a little bit of, I believe, the grace from above. I call it grace. Someone calls it universe. Someone calls it God. There is a little bit of a grace which says, take it. Because again, I'm not sure who told me the story quite recently, but I had read this before, but I was reminded it anyway, of a man who believed in God, and he had immense faith that God would help him at all times. And when his town was underwater, he knew God would come and save him. And there was a boat that came to help him, and he didn't take the boat. And then there was a second trawler that came in and said, "Sir, please come in. The water is rising." And he said, "No, I'm going to go and sit on top of the roof. God will come and save me." And then finally the firemen came in and they said, "Sir, we have to take you. And if we do not move out of here, the water is going to flow in and we all will die. We cannot wait for you." And he said, "No, God will save me." And finally he met his maker. And he said, "God, why didn't you come and save me?" And God said, "My dear child, I sent you not one, not two, but I sent you 3 opportunities, and you didn't take those opportunities. So Trust that the universe is sending you opportunities. Do not wait for some fancy miracle. There are small, small miracles that are going to come into your life. Take those and believe in that, in the law of attraction, and believe that there is some higher power up there that will help you. Take the first step in faith. You don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take that first step. And imagine sometimes when you're driving in the fog or in darkness, if you had to reach from point A to point B, your car can only see the next maybe 100, 200 meters. You can't see the road from point A to point B. Life is like that. If you can see the next few steps, take those. And then as you move forward, you will see the next few steps. Trust in the grace of the universe and things will happen. And the first thing to know is that if you focus on something that is going to happen and on the end goal, you'll get stuck on that. So just go with the flow. And to finally look at what the third chapter says, it says, be like the Aladdin's genie. The law of attraction grants every command. The creative process will help you create what you want. Ask the universe for what you want, and you will receive it. Believing involves acting, speaking, and thinking. But that action does not feel like action because you're going with the flow. And it doesn't feel like action because that's what you genuinely want. Receiving involves feeling the way that you feel once your desire is manifested. So if you want to make $1 million, believe that you have those $1 million in your bank. Talk in present tense. I have received it. I am on stage. I am addressing a crowd of, as I said, 200, 500, 1,000 people. I have received the contract that I was working for. I have received the accolades that I'm working for. I have received the degree that I was working for. And for example, if you want to lose weight, do not focus on losing weight. Focus on your perfect weight. This is my perfect weight. And take action which doesn't feel like action. It takes no time for universe to manifest what you want. It is as easy to manifest $1 as 1 million. Have faith and create your day in advance by thinking of the way you want it to go, and you will create your life intentionally. And that brings us to the end of third chapter. We have about 7 minutes before our time runs out. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, if you have any thoughts, the forum is open.
Thank you so much for today's session. So I am Meenakshi from Chennai.
Thank you, Meenakshi ji.
Yeah.
Any
And
thoughts?
yeah, this secret book first time I read 15 years before. So when I
Okay.
was undergoing for the cancer treatment, one of my friend gifted me. So I don't have any
Okay.
idea how to read this book or not, but this has totally changed because before that I was only doing prayers, which was more fanatic. And as you say, no, it was just a fantasy type of prayers that God will help me. I am praying so many hours like that. But this book has totally changed our thought process and the frequency, how we have to improve our mental pattern. Then only all the prayers will get work.
Thank
So
you
I can
so much.
easily, yeah, I can easily resonate. I am very happy to listen to all the. It's like just like rereading the same book. And
Thank you
now,
so much.
when you say about the BHAG, so even Dr. Sriveni was there in that session I was attending. So that time, as Rajesh told me, I kept my BHAG as becoming a branch manager with no idea. But believe it, this year I got an opportunity to negotiate for that, and I got the courage to even talk about it to the management.
Very good.
Without even when I was doing that BHAG, I was imagining that what people will think about me, that the thing. But this year, even though it is a 1 year workout for me, I attended in 2022, but this 23 universe has given me a chance to talk in line with the management. Before that, I was only a junior level. I was thinking like that. But all this training and the book reading, all the things, no, the universe is making us, making making us to and taking us to the next frequency.
That is so
So I
true.
was very happy after
Congratulations.
negotiation to that. No, even whether the management definitely will give, but the moment we spoke about it, no, it is already achieved.
Amazing. And I'm glad you shared this because you are basically a living example of how the book Secret, how the law of attraction works. Thank you so much.
So as you said, I am also aiming to empower my friends. Now I got an opportunity to connect with many of my friends, though I learn a lot, but very seldom I share my thoughts because people keep me aloof because I am so serious or so philosophical. So I don't have much friends. But now I got the secret how to connect with them.
Exactly.
How to connect with them.
See,
through these
all of us over here are keen to hear from someone like you. So I'm sure,
Thank you so much.
sometimes you may have just a few friends, but they are deeper relationships, and that's what matters.
Correct. Thank you,
Thank you.
Srinivani. Yeah. You
Thank
are
you so
our
much.
daily inspiration.
Yes, she's an awesome woman for sure. Anyone else who would like to share? Maybe someone who had not heard about The Secret. What are your thoughts about it? So I had heard about this. I mean, actually, this book has been with me for more than 20 years. And a lot of us have bookshelves filled with books that you don't look at. I only started reading this book in June this year when someone else actually asked me to read Magic, which is her second book, actually. And when I was going through the 28-day gratitude practice of Magic, she talked about The Secret. And I said, oh, yeah, I have the book. So let me start reading it. And I was amazed. And I said, I have had this treasure with me for more than 18, 19 years. But sometimes as they say that when the student is ready, the teacher will arrive. So maybe it was something like that. So thank you so much. If there are no questions, thank you so much. I truly appreciate everyone joining. And yes, Mr. Vivek.
Yeah, ma'am. Thank you so much. No question at all, because as you mentioned, it is like like attracts like. See, every out of our busy so-called lifestyle, we forgot few things like attracts like, and what are the affirmation and thought frequency, energy levels. We hear now and then, whatever the number of times we hear, but in our daily routine, again, we will skip them. It is going to be out of our mind.
It is out of our
So
mind.
it is a kind of a recap.
Yeah.
It's going to be like out of mind, and again, it is like connecting. See how we recharge our body, and however we recharge on daily basis. Similarly, our thoughts and mind, thought flow frequency must be recharged, or frequency we need to set that one, as you mentioned, the radio station and all. Like we should keep on setting every morning or before sleeping, before bed or after bed.
You have
Thank
to
you
do
so
that.
much, ma'am. For even I do, yeah, I do follow Bob. Morning affirmations and all. It was really amazing, and it is a kind of setting of frequency today evening. Thank you so much, Dr. Sriveni, ma'am, and the faculty of the day. Thank you. Thanks for the secret of the day.
Thank you so much. Take care, everyone. Have a lovely day and have a lovely and a wonderful year ahead. Take care. Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. Bye. Thank you for all attending.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.